Hello, my name is Colin Doyle, and I'm a Senior SD at Juniper Networks, and today I'm going to be talking about IPv6 Prefix Delegation over Ethernet. I had a customer question come up recently, and this is sort of my answer to that question. It's over Ethernet because the examples that I found really only dealt with PPPoE, and I didn't want to set that up in my lab, so I did it over Ethernet. I'll put a link in the description to the PPPoE instructions that I cribbed off of. Modifying them for Ethernet isn't all that tricky. There's also another link that I'm going to put in there that deals with the settings on the CE when you're using like an SRX. You can read here through the methods. This is going to be a tight video, so I'm going to read through these. So just pause and read them. My test scenario looks like so. I'm using the same lab that I had for my SRX failover testing. DMX1 is going to be my PE. The SRX cluster is going to be my CE, and I'm going to be testing from this PC down here. So let's get started. Looking at the PE first, we can go through 4 commands, which is where your configuration pretty much lives. We can do show system, services, DHCP local server. Here's where we set up our DHCP server. And this actually looks a lot like any other IPv6 server that you might be using. And we see we define our bound interface to DHCP as the WAN link that's going towards our CE. We do a show access to take a look at that pool. And here we can see the prefix that we're actually delegating. So there it is right there. And actually a prefix delegation prefix length, which gives them pretty much access to this entire delegated prefix. We could change that value if we wanted to. I'm also passing DNS server information as well. Show you what the interface for that WAN looks like. It's not all that fancy. In fact, it doesn't really have any config. It just looks like a v6 interface. Ta-da! And show protocols, router, advertisement. So we are doing RAs towards the CE, and this is what those RAs look like. All right, moving along. Now over to the CE. Same set of commands we're going to use to check this out. Show system, services, DHCP local server. We're using a couple overrides here. That process inform is what I was talking about earlier. Another link in the comments that's specific to SRX platforms. It is not going to push out things like DNS information if you don't include that. We've got group IPv6, and it is pointing towards our redundant Ethernet interface, binding this DHCP server to the interface that is facing our LAN, which in this case is our EX virtual chassis. We do show access. We'll see the pool. In this case, we have a prefix that's defined as a /16. You'll notice it's defined as a /48 over here. Essentially, that prefix needs to be larger than what you're being delegated. The delegated address has to fall within it. And then when you get that delegation, you'll just assign from the delegation. And then I've got DHCP attributes. I'm telling it to propagate the settings that learns off that WAN link, which in this case includes the DHCP server settings. So the interface, and we'll look at the WAN link first, which is 3000. You note that it has, this is where the prefix delegation actually happens. It's got a DHCP6 client, and this is the config required to do the delegation out to the LAN, which is this ref 0.12. And if we look at the WAN link, which is going to be, the LAN link, which is show interfaces, and this is ref 0.12, you'll notice something interesting. There's actually no family INET6, which I thought was weird, but it totally works. And we look at our protocols and our routing advertisements. We're just running simple RAs up towards the WAN device, the PE. So now let's look at our system. If we do an if config, oh, hey, look, wrong window. If config, en8, hey, there's nothing there because I have to plug the cable in. So doing that now, and, oh, waiting for it to come up. There we go. And we already have our link local address. There's our IP address. And now we can see it. We're actually getting our delegated prefix there, 2001. :1, :1, and then the /48 is the rest. One thing I needed to do in order to ping, this is one of my requirements, to be able to ping the PE, was to add a static route. Now, in your environment, you'll likely be running a, some sort of, routing protocols that handle this. But for me, I just put in a static default. I gave it a qualified next hop that is the link local address of the PE. And then when you set up a qualified next hop in v6, you actually have to pin it to an interface as well. So in that case, I can do a ping 6, and I can say 3000 : :1, and there we go. It all works. Any questions, drop them in the comments, and thanks.